Today I'm going to break into institutional custody. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about security and what this might mean to you guys, especially if you're a crypto investor. You want to stay tuned for this one. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. One of the biggest things you can do is make sure that whatever you're doing in crypto is done in a secure basis. If you just look at the amount of data breaches that we're already seeing, we've got Apple, Google, Facebook, all of these starting to get into our own inboxes. This means everything from email, passwords, all that kind of stuff. If you know what phishing is and you've ever been kind of someone that's had that attempted on you, then you kind of understand. But the key here is really to pay attention to what's happening. AT&T also going out with 177 million in data breach settlement to try to affect 109 million customers. These are huge in terms of sizes. So this is why it's an important situation. Even our healthcare systems are getting into data breaches. So the point being is it's happening all around the industry. I wanted to bring in someone that kind of understands this, but also we're going to talk about institutional custody because that's important as well, especially around security. And one of those is an expert that's in the area. And of course, it's the CEO of iTrustCapital, Kevin Maloney. How are you?
Good, Paul. Thanks for having me. Great to be on.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, thank you. You guys are a great partner to the channel. We appreciate your support. And one of the things I wanted to hit on, Kevin, is really getting into some of the new products and features that you guys have launched here recently. Can you share a little bit about what's going on there?
Yeah, so you mentioned at the onset, security and issues that have been occurring, around the globe, and it is a problem. You get the phishing hacks, the phishing scams, data breaches. We've seen a myriad of those in the news from large and small companies. I've been hacked personally. A couple of the executives here have been hacked personally, SIM card swap hacked, you name it. We do testing every week, every month internally to make sure our own employees don't fall a victim of scams to gain access to personal or client accounts. So we're very in tune with what's going on. We talk to the federal regulators, we talk to the FBI, and they give us a lot of good input of what to do and what not to do to try to combat this. It's a problem. In response to that, some of the things we've developed recently, we're building a registered investment advisor platform for secure access for RIAs to onboard their clients, maintain AUM, and give their clients access to crypto. We're allowing businesses to buy and hold digital assets in treasury and in a business account. Obviously, we built our brand and reputation around the individual retirement account, the tax advantage retirement account access for individuals, and most notably and most recently, the premium custody account that are taxable accounts for individuals that all operate in a closed loop system. And that closed loop system, very simply, doesn't allow access to external wallets. So right. We're not an exchange. We're not a payments platform. There's really big exchanges that do a great job on that. You've got Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, Crypto.com. They're excellent at that for the retail masses. We developed a closed loop system that does not allow our clients to connect to external wallets. Now we can take in-kind crypto transfers from a wallet that's whitelisted and approved by us, and then they can buy and sell and trade within the IRA. Within the iTrustCapital ecosystem. Again, That closed loop system is something that we developed by demand and by design to prevent someone that's lazy, someone that gets phished, someone that gets scammed or hacked or compromised. Those bad actors, those individuals can't get into the account and drain the account.
You just hit on something that is a very big, I think, trend that we're already seeing in the market, and that is companies starting to hold in custody cryptos. Typically, it's been Bitcoin out there for sure. You talked about your closed loop system. I'll kind of highlight that right there. But the point I'm getting at, for someone to do that, you're a business owner, you're a big, maybe a multinational company that wants to deploy, and you do want to take on something like this with iTrust. How much flexibility do I have in that account like I do with my iTrustCapital IRA? Do I have any kind of trade capacity, or is it more of just a wallet that's going to hold that capital?
Yeah, so once you get assets into the ecosystem, you can buy, hold, sell, and trade. It's all self-directed on your own. We offer up to 80 different assets to choose from, and precious metals like gold and silver. That's all held in an institutional cold wallet ecosystem with MPC, multi-party computational access, which allows us to separate the keys and not have any one failure point for access to the wallets. The
Okay.
cold storage provider we use, Coinbase Institutional, also gives us multiple layers that we add from a customization perspective to add multiple layers of additional security. So yeah, there's a lot of flexibility. Once you get the assets into the ecosystem, it's all self-directed. You can buy and hold and sell. And I think the key is that it's held with institutional, cold storage providers, off balance sheet, one to
Yeah.
one, very secure, battle tested cold storage ecosystem, which is really critical.
That I think is going to be a trend. You guys might be on the very front edge of what we're going to see in the future, possibly within the next 18 months. When you look at the regulatory framework right now, obviously the Genius Act just got passed or will be passed here soon, but got through the Senate, now back to the House for final approval. I know you guys offer a lot of tools and learning opportunities there. For a brand new person, a company, an individual that's high net worth, and they want to jump into it, what kind of assets and things do you guys have available to kind of help those new users onto the iTrust system?
Yeah, and so obviously we're not an investment advisor, and we don't make recommendations. We don't have a sales team or pay commissions. But my disclosure is always do your own research. But
Yeah.
look, we've got the learning center that you've mentioned. We've got this very secure ecosystem. We've gone out to third-party administrators like trust companies that have said, our clients want access to crypto, but we don't want to build the infrastructure, the dashboard, or have the service in place.
Yeah.
The 9,000 5-star ratings that we have from Google and Trustpilot, you just can't fake that. You have to pick up the phone with a smile in the US and answer questions, remove barriers for these investors that are participating in the blockchain economy. So we've done a really good job of onboarding third-party administrators, allowing their clients to participate in the blockchain economy, not poaching them. We're keeping them relevant, right? These other trust companies, they know they need to provide access at some point. The FDIC is allowing banks to participate and support crypto companies. The SEC is lowering the bar to participate. We've had the SEC, Hester Peirce, at our office here. We've hosted her. She was a keynote at my blockchain conference in 2019. We have a great rapport. We're seeing Jeremy Allaire and Brian Armstrong at Circle and Coinbase do a really good job from a lobby perspective. I just had a lunch in New York with policy experts pushing the lobby through. The Genius Act got through the Senate. We see that going to the House. We think that'll pass. The banks, ironically, got a lot of what they wanted with the Genius Act and the stablecoin. So the banks got a lot of what they asked for. And that is going to open the door for, in my opinion, the masses or smaller institutions that are going to want to hold some digital assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, whatever it is, it's all self-directed on their balance sheet. And we do that with very secure storage, very secure custody in the US, third-party, regulated institutions, qualified custodians, with a very secure access point. And we do that with this 5-star service in the US. And I'm not maligning other cultures, other countries do a great job, but our client base are typically 40 to 60. They're very crypto curious. They're not experts. And they want to speak with someone in the US about the challenges they might be having to get into their account or reset their password, or just talk about safety, security, and peace of mind and the ecosystem in general. That's what we do. We do that out of our headquarters in Irvine, California, here in Southern California. And, we all know about MicroStrategy holding, Bitcoin as a treasury.
Right.
And we've got Pro Financial and MetaPlanet and, we've got 21. We've got SharpLink just entered the ecosystem and holding ETH on balance sheet. We've got David Bailey at Bitcoin, the conference, who just launched his platform to hold Bitcoin and fund other companies doing it, all getting a lot of good traction. I think when the Genius Act goes through on the House side, assuming we get the right votes and support, I think we're going to see it open up to the masses, and more are going to participate and feel like either FOMO, I need to get in, or it feels safer and I want to participate. Not bet the farm, but like participate at some level. Some of them will manage their own keys in crypto. We do a good job of that with our key partners. We use Fidelity, we use Coinbase Institutional, and we use Fireblocks, battle
Mhm.
tested large blue chip names that do an excellent job on the security part of the equation.
I was looking at, you know, well, this is on your website. Your assets are secure. You know, your assets, not ours. And one of the things you hit on, the institutional grade security and also custody, Fidelity mentioned in there, Wells Fargo, Coinbase Prime, of course, Fireblocks. Here's my question: is when you look at what Chair Powell just said, I think it was today, or yeah, it was just today. He came out and said, hey, we're loosening the guidelines on banks. They can do their own business. Crypto is pretty much alive and well now. We're not going to see that kind of pressure from banks pushing away crypto opportunities. Are you at all concerned that banks are going to try to come in and dilute this space, especially in whether it's the IRA side, but definitely in custody and also in Treasury capital holding? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I do think that the competition will increase as barriers to entry get lowered. We get more clarity from the regulatory perspective. We get a bit more guidance. We see large companies going public and doing it in the US with proper governance and a lot of transparency. And that gives people safety, security, and peace of mind. And it feels like, yes, larger banks will participate at some point. Uh, I think that right now everyone's watching carefully on the sidelines. I think over the next 18 months, as we get clarity from the Genius Act, including stable coins and a bit more legislation and clarity from the SEC, I think that you'll see broker dealers and banks jump into the equation. I think we
Mm-hmm.
have some real clear leaders in the space already. I think some will attempt to launch their own stable coins, but yes, I think others will jump in. Look, we're in this very niche category where we have hundreds of thousands of individual retirement accounts and professional working professionals across America that trust our brand, trust our service, and trust our the access and security we give them. That is a really interesting demographic to serve.
Mm-hmm.
The retirement accounts across America are worth $13 trillion. It's very sticky capital. If you don't
Wow.
screw them over, lose their money for them, overcharge them, you give them transparency and most importantly, safety and security. It's very loyal capital. We
Yeah.
don't charge any fees to leave the platform. We don't limit the amount you can take away. We're in the US. We charge 1% when you buy or sell. It's all self directed.
Right.
It's all MPC access with large, again, battle tested partners that have been there, done that. We could do more of these things, but we like Wells Fargo managing our clients' short term cash in US treasuries. We like Coinbase Institutional and Fidelity and Fireblocks with their platforms and the customization we get to add additional layers internally within our company to provide that security and those access points. We really like that. Our qualified custodian that was granted our charter this year, we could do more of that, but that's not what we're good at. We're really excellent at onboarding and servicing and providing the dashboard experience and working with these amazing blue chip vendors to deliver what they do best, right? Do what you do best, hire others to do the rest, right? And that's sort of where we focus. I do believe the banks are watching carefully. I believe they will start building or buying over the next 12 to 18 months once that regulatory clarity happens. We're sort of like a craft beer. And if you're Anheuser-Busch, it's a little bit more difficult to start this sort of craft beer cult-like following, this authentic, from the ground up guerrilla roots. And one of the banks, may want to expedite or accelerate or augment their access or mitigate risk associated with building
Right.
in this area. It took a long time. We started in 2018, launched in 2019, and it took several years to get it right. There are multiple vendors we work with on a daily basis, and we are all holding each other accountable to do the one or two things we all do really well, right? And it's important. The banks thus far and broker dealers either have not been allowed to participate because of FINRA rules, or now with the SEC and the FDIC lowering the bar, banks are
Mm-hmm.
more apt to participate. But they don't want to risk brand or reputation. They want to do it carefully and they want to do it by the book. And so I think they're going to build and or buy or start both over the next 6 to 24 month time frame.
Yeah, I think the question will be, it's interesting too, because your demographic kind of hovers in the area where they do trust banks. But you have this emerging demographic in the under 40. We talk to a lot of those, it's a big part of our audience, that is starting to look at neobanks, alternatives. DeFi is getting into a big part of this. What are you guys doing to attract those kinds of investors?
Yeah, good question. I mean, we started off initially, as I mentioned, with a very niche category, focusing on individuals that want to access the blockchain economy in a self-directed manner on a safe, secure platform through their individual retirement accounts with those tax advantage. That's a niche category. Now, we talked about a big number; it's worth 13 trillion. And there's tens of millions of Americans that are saving, but 20 to 50 million are participating in the blockchain economy. I do think that opens up further. We'll get more clarity and guidance, and that's exciting. On the other side of the equation, for the other individuals that are participating outside of a retirement account, because there's people that are fanatical about crypto and curious about crypto, wanting to participate even outside of their IRA. So we've recently launched our premium custody account, which is for individuals and businesses that want to, in a self-directed manner, access crypto. Again, we don't have 40,000 tokens to choose from. We don't even have 500. Some of the exchanges have 350 to 500. We've got 80, right? Right down the middle of the fairway, generally top 100 or the top 10 or 15 sort of meme coins. We always recommend that you do your own due diligence and figure out what sort of policy fits your investment policy, fits your time horizon. Don't bet the farm, but that's what we're doing for individuals that want to participate. The dirty secret is you get access to cold storage, institutional, asset storage for your crypto, basically for free through iTrustCapital.
Yeah.
Right. You literally in-kind transfer in and sit there, buy and hold, or in-kind transfer into your premium custody account and just sit there and only pay our 1% exit fee when you get out, and have access to free institutional cold storage, which is really held off balance sheet one-to-one with their qualified custodian.
Right.
That I know of, you can't get that as an individual directly on some of these exchanges. One of the reasons I was one of the first to transfer assets over here, I've been hacked. I've been compromised. Two other executives at our company have as well. It's not fun. It took them 5 minutes to take over my identity, my bank accounts, and my crypto accounts, and it took me 2 days to get my stuff back with IDs and certificates and passports. It's a backwards system. There are many people. We get weekly calls from clients, either a bad actor in the family that got greedy, or a bad actor that was nice enough to help Mrs. Jones reset her password that came in through her Yahoo or MSN or Google account. And the person sounded really nice and they gave up information. It happens weekly. Now at iTrustCapital, if you get lazy at Starbucks, walk away from your laptop, someone gets in, they can buy or sell more Bitcoin or crypto for you, or Ethereum, Solana, XRP, but it cannot leave the platform. And they literally cannot send it to a bad actor in Belarus or anywhere around the world. It can't physically be sent out. You can't wire the money out, and it can't be sent out to a wallet that some bad actor connects on his own. Now, we can work with you and go through multiple steps and ask security questions to set up whitelisted and approved wallets that we send micro tests to and approve to get assets coming in. But you cannot connect going out. And that's by design. It's a safety feature that prevents anybody that gets lazy or gets compromised at iTrustCapital in their account. The money, the cash and or crypto cannot leave physically, can't be connected externally. Yeah. And that's sort of how we define the closed loop system that I think is starting to resonate with the masses, whether you're on the large exchanges. I have crypto at different exchanges. And every day I do wake up thinking, someone could literally get into my exchange,
what happens?
My payment platform, and it's one way out to Timbuktu. I cannot get it back. With iTrustCapital, it stays in that dome, in that closed loop system.
Let me ask you about some of the more advanced features that are out there in the market that are starting to percolate. Now, I imagine we're going to see a lot of interest in these areas. You could get into digital asset lending. I'm thinking that we've got Bitcoin lending starting to happen in the market. Then you look at staking opportunities. And then you look at just yield. generation. Any plan to deal with those more advanced features in your platform in the future?
All three in process. Staking going live in a week or two. Really excited about that.
Wow. Okay.
Terms of condition, terms of service are getting updated as we speak. That'll be within a week or two. Staking is happening. We're excited. It's by the book, and we picked an excellent partner that we feel is leading in transparency and compliance. So I feel really good about that. Yield. We can't pay out yield from these products, but we can get rewards and offer rewards for allowing clients to opt in and participate. That is happening. Conversations are happened even this morning with two large partners about generating some rewards based on some activity or holdings. Part of the Genius Act allows the issuers to generate the obviously the stable coin. They can have the dollars that are backing the stablecoins one-to-one managed. They can keep that revenue, but some of that can be rev shared and paid out and then passed on in the form of rewards for being a member of my website, for example, sort of like what Coinbase does, or like a credit card does. So that is we're in discussions about what assets and how to generate properly, legally, with compliance and transparency in place yield, because we know that's demand. Lending is a very big thing. We're talking to two different groups on lending for individuals that want to pledge their Bitcoin, immediately get access to USDC and put that to work, whether they need to redo their kitchen or get a new automobile or pay for kids' schooling. So those are happening. Credit cards is another idea that is on the plate. We've got big deals happening with MasterCard and Amex in the marketplace. We've read about in the news this morning with MasterCard, with another company, and Coinbase, obviously, an announcement they made with Amex. Those are all on the table. One is launching in a week or two. The other three are in play. It's where you need to be. You've just got to offer these products for people to be in the game and give them different ways to either generate some rewards or yield, stake and get some additional income on those products, and the lending. I don't want to lose my basis. I want to keep my Bitcoin. I want to ride the upside in case there is upside, but I need some liquidity short term, and so I want the access there.
For sure. Okay, I'm looking at your list of tokens. Obvious, Bitcoin, Ethereum, most likely leading the way in terms of activity. You got XRP in there, Solana. When you look at the tokens right now, what's the top ones? What are people trading and holding the most, outside of Bitcoin and ETH? Because we know those are the big ones.
Yeah, surprisingly, there is a very strong XRP army out there, and they are fanatical about XRP and the potential for XRP. We speak to Ripple often. We think they're amazing and sharp people. They have some innovative products coming down the pipeline. We'd love to work with them at some level to allow the XRP army, these fanatics that really are excited about the potential to do more with their XRP. So that's a big one. We see a lot of interest and uptick in smaller ones like SUI, SUI, and Ondo. Obviously, Solana is a big asset. And ETH is surprisingly been dormant for a little bit. But we see a bit of activity picking up in ETH there. These are not recommendations. I'm simply looking at just sort of activity based on.
You guys get a chance to see what's happening behind the doors in terms of where the activity is happening.
We've got 200,000 people that signed up for accounts, and we've got 75,000 that funded accounts with $6 billion. And these people, many of them do not buy it, set it, and forget it. I mean, they are actively moving and participating in the digital asset arena. And so we see a lot of activity and trends based on news or insights and that are sort of happening. So the trends are interesting. But those are some of the ones that come to mind. There's also a lot of activity in these smaller meme coins that we don't obviously make recommendations around, but we look at the trends. We look at what people are asking to participate in, and there's been some upside in some of these as well.
Kevin, I mean, you look at someone like a Robinhood, and even if you look at what's happening over on TradingView, there are some metrics that are available to you as a trader. Are you guys planning any kind of data or insights that could, somewhat normalize the data that you have, not sharing any information, but like certain trends that could percolate within the iTrust ecosystem where maybe traders and holders could act on it?
Yeah, that's a really interesting concept that we've kicked around for a while. We have access to incredible data from retirement, working professionals, from the retirement participation arena to individuals in onboarding non-retirement accounts, which has really blown up in the last few weeks since we offered and announced in-kind, transfers of crypto directly into your iTrust Capital cold storage facility that we have in place. That has really blown up in a positive way. And we really haven't put a lot of marketing and are just scratching the surface with sort of influencers talking about that. It is something that at some point we would like to share anecdotally some data and metrics and data points, not for decision making. We're talking to groups about implementing AI and leveraging trends and data to give people just better access to information and tools and resources to make better decisions around their investments, since we don't get involved with that. But there's a lot of data that we eventually might want to package and share just so people can have a reference point.
Exactly.
That's on the table.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, you guys
And
got a lot of irons in the fire.
A lot of irons in the fire. We stayed narrowly focused with our IRA retirement accounts. That niche category we carved out that no one was paying attention to, that really took a couple years to get going. We ended up, doing really well, becoming a leader in that category and servicing them well, not overcharging, and giving a lot of transparency and security with our key partners.
I like it.
So we're excited. Thank you very much for having us.
You bet. Thanks again for coming in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. All right, guys, we'll break down more on iTrust too, because they have a lot of these new services as we start to cover this, and mainly because it is starting to hit on a lot of the milestones in the industry, big key things that are happening on the regulatory side. So stay tuned for all that good stuff. If you're not in our Diamond Circle, get in on that. It's our own private group that's out there. It's absolutely free. You can get additional content, research from us, and of course, follow me out there on X, @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.